We're on Micanopy's main street, historic Chilaka Boulevard, at the Thrasher Warehouse Complex. This is located a few doors north of the Herlong Mansion Bed and Breakfast on the other side of Chilaka. The Thrasher family ran a general mercantile business at this location from 1896 to 1973, using the railroad spur which ran on the other side of the warehouse behind me. And that's where the historical museum is now.
Much of our museum encompasses the Second Seminole War period. That was 1835 to 1842. And this includes our paintings. The Battle of Micanopy took place June the 9th, 1836. Micanopy Historical Society commissioned artist Jackson Walker, who's a Florida artist, to paint this painting for us. If you look in the background, you will see a fort, and that is Fort Micanopy, or Fort Defiance, as the original fort was called.
The building's been here almost 100 years. It was not used as a warehouse for a period of time and fell into disrepair. The group that formed the Historical Society in the early 80s realized the usefulness it had still in it and worked on renovating it. And then the town of Micanopy bought this property in 1988. It's owned by the town. The Thrasher Warehouse Preservation Corporation, a little nonprofit, manages the structures and the land, and then the Historical Society leases it for the museum and for the archives and for various meetings and other things.
We like to tell our visitors a little bit about the early history of the area. So we start with some exhibits on Native Americans. We also got a really beautiful collection from the Alan Rosenberger estate. And these are stone tools that go back to Paleo-Indian times, like 8,000 years ago, and all the way up to actually past the Spanish contact.
Our first school in Micanopy was our East Florida Seminary, which was established in 1852. It had 2 teachers and had a total of 30 students. After the Civil War, it actually ended up moving.
These cases feature the movies that were filmed in the Micanopy area. The Yearling was a story Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings had written in 1938. It was known worldwide. The next movie that was filmed here was filmed in 1983 called Cross Creek, and was also based on a book that Marjorie wrote in 1942 about her arrival in the Island Grove and Cross Creek area. You see a lot of downtown Micanopy, and it's really a lot of fun seeing Micanopy 40 years ago. It looks the same.
One of our newest exhibits is this Seminole Wars period fort. Our Micanopy resident, Dr. Jeff Rubin, created this fort, each and every little detail. This type of fort would have housed about 120 men and officers. We constantly have people that are giving things to us or offering things to us. Really, this museum is a local museum. We will take those kind of things, and the paper documents would go to the archives, and we would have the things on display in here. And we welcome people to bring things. We know 1500s to current. We really do, and the old families and people that are related to some of these people that come in, and a lot of them are buried in the cemetery. If you don't preserve that, then really it's like a puzzle with pieces missing.
We've got an accession system that organizes all that by name, so somebody coming here that says, I'm a Smith, I want to know about the Smiths that were here in this town, and we can pretty readily pull out what is in our collection about that family.
I think it's important to know the history to see how important it is today. People come and they're always surprised as to what is in here, and that it's indigenous of this area. There have been people here for 12,000 years. Being a former educator myself, I really love to have students come in, which we do invite the schools in. It's just great to have them know what the schools were like and play games that they used to play pre-Civil War, that kind of thing.
Newest building in this complex is the Diana B. Cohen building, which houses the Micanopy Archives. It says Micanopy's longtime archivist. Diana spearheaded the fundraising campaign that raised the money to build the archives building, and it opened there in 2003. We try to limit our scope both in terms of archival material that we collect and artifacts in the museum to the Micanopy area, not just the town limits, but this general area. Legal documents, wills, titles to property, as well as letters, memoirs, books written by Micanopy people or about Micanopy by others.
We want to learn about how people lived, how they interacted with each other. We have a lot of people that are very interested when they come into the museum. Some can spend 2-3 hours in here and look at everything. And I also learned from the people who come in here. Quite often, actually, they know more about certain aspects than I do.
Being an all-volunteer organization, it is essential that we have enough docents and volunteers to cover the hours that we are open. We right now have 20 active docents. Currently, we're open from Wednesday to Sunday, 1 to 4.
We are always looking for volunteers. If you would like to volunteer, come in any day and talk to us, see what we do, and we would be so happy to have you join us. We ask for a modest $2 per person when they're coming in. We have people who leave portions of their estate to us. We have people who make donations. We are always, of course, happy to take donations.
If you love history and you have a few hours to donate and you would like to join us, we would love to have you on our team. If you don't preserve your small town history, your big history is worthless.